movie fans, welcome to Cold and Trash Horror Movie Grinding Podcast. I am your host, Ian. This is the show in which we grind on the absolute worst horror and sci-fi movies we can find and make fun of just how bad they are, as well as praise the good, cool classics that have been lost throughout time. Now get ready, because we're about to dive real deep inside of Hollywood's dumpster in search of the good, the so bad it's good, and the fucking ugly. Now put on your seatbelt, grab a beer or two, and enjoy the show.
Hey, I'm your host, Seth, and I'm here with Movies So Bad They're Good. And today we're going to be talking about the 1980 Shining. The Shining, one of the most terrible movies ever made, directed by some boring guy who's probably dead in a trash can or in a gutter somewhere. Who gives a shit? This movie was starring Jack Nicholson, I don't care. Shelley Duvall, Danny Lloyd, Scotland Cathers. And you might have noticed Joe Rogan in the bathroom dropping the N-word like crazy to Jack Nicholson as well, but it's not listed here in IMDb facts, but I saw it. We're going to go ahead and get deep into this terrible horror movie, The Shining. One of the things I'll start with is that when I first saw The Shining, and that was, I don't remember. It was probably on Netflix or something like that when it came in. I remember seeing it because I heard it was a good horror movie and just really didn't care for it. It was very boring, very long and drawn out. There were just a lot of shots of, it felt like an infomercial to a hotel showing me all the rooms and things that are nice. And sometimes there's naked ladies in the shower. So for me, I didn't truly care for it. Those are some of my thoughts on top. I guess I'll have to start introducing the rest of the panel here. So to start, I would like to go ahead and bring in our first guest here, Bree.
Hey, Seth, how's it going? The hostess with the mostest.
That's right. I guess so. So, Bree, what was your first introduction to this movie, and what are some of your thoughts here?
Ooh, I think my first introduction was probably around like 10, I think. My parents were watching it. I just happened to be walking through the hallway. And even at the age of 10, as they're like running through this hotel, it's like, what the fuck is even going on? This makes no sense. Why is there a dude in a bear mask giving a blowjob?
It's a good question.
Just absolutely nonsensical.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Our next guest we have with us, Ian.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, man? What about the first time you saw this terrible movie, and what are some of your thoughts on top?
I don't remember. I think like Bree, it was like a while ago. I read the book. The book's actually good. I saw the movie and I was like, really? Like is this the same thing? I think it was high school and it was just like you said it perfectly. It was boring.
It was pretty boring, and I think when I was looking up stuff about this movie, I realized what would have probably fixed it is if they would have went with who they wanted to go with first, a true psychotic, and that would be Robin Williams instead of Jack Nicholson. If he was the main star of this, I think definitely it would have been a better movie. They made a bad choice. So
that's a good idea.
I know. Yeah. It is. They had it. It was their idea, and I was like, you know what? That's a winner. So next we will bring in Dustin.
Yo.
Hey, so when's the first time you seen this movie, and what are some thoughts?
Well, I actually didn't see this movie until later, and I started watching horror at a really young age. I never wanted to watch the movie to begin with, mostly because Stephen King was completely opposed to it altogether, and then when it was released, he absolutely hated it for several reasons. And
I can think of a few reasons.
Oh yeah,
right. So I never wanted to watch it. I don't remember exactly when I finally did sit down and watch it. It was in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s when I finally watched it. It didn't take me long to realize that I was in for a terrible ride. You know, but I gave it a shot.
On board. Man, everybody's got the same opinion. It's kind of weird that he got a 4.5 on IMDb. Strange.
Yeah. I've always heard that it was always like really popular.
What is that? A good rating on IMDb or something?
Yeah, I mean, popular doesn't mean good. I mean, look at all the crap that's coming out.
It's
now.
true. I mean, if you look at it, I mean,
good point.
It's not the most popular movie, but the best movie I've seen so far is Batman versus Superman. So I mean, come on,
agreed.
I mean, get it together.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Let me go ahead and bring in Jonny. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for having me back, man. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, he's his new podcast. I give all the flicks. How you doing, man?
Good, man. You know, and we do give all the flicks. Any subject you guys want to talk about, call in and let us know.
Yeah,
we'll be more than happy.
So, what's your introduction to this movie, and what are some of your thoughts on top?
Yeah, you know what, man. It's to piggyback off what Dustin was saying earlier. You know, if you go in with high expectations to a movie, you're typically let down always. And this was one of those times. I think I was 19 when I had seen it first, and I was dating a girl who was a few years younger than me, and her family was Mormon. She wasn't really, but you know, parents were. So they walked in on us in the middle of it. In fact, it's the scene where Jack Nicholson walks in on a naked old woman in the bathtub.
Dude, that part was so funny.
Yeah, it was, man. I was like, dude, man, this sounds like something that George Carlin would write. Shit. It honestly, man, yeah, it got pumped up a lot, and I don't really understand it because Kubrick has had so many classics, so many masterpieces, and a lot of people state this is his magnum opus. I don't see it. I don't know where they're basing this off of. So, you know, my first impression was a lot like y'all's. It was slow, it was drawn out, it was boring. You know, it's like watching grass grow, paint dry, whatever.
It's more like just watching carpet.
Yeah. Not a lot happened, just really boring.
Not a shot of carpet, walls.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I could have cut an hour of this movie out of the kid riding a bike.
Hell yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
exactly. I would have rather watched. Yeah, I would have rather watched that for an hour.
That was too long too. Like it kept going back to that. I'm just like, nothing's going on.
Yeah,
you're trying to build suspense, but it just fails.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a movie that's you watch a horror movie and you anticipate the score and soundtrack to be incredibly ominous, and you know, and I just it was too happy for me. It was too, you know, it was too upbeat, too peppy.
I mean, honestly, I didn't understand why everybody was so sad. I mean, I was kind of on Jack Nicholson's side. Like, yeah, get the action up that wife and kid, man. Get them out of here. They were boring. I couldn't stand them after the first 10 minutes of the movie. So
yeah, they had what was coming to them, man.
Yeah, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
Yeah.
So, next, I guess we're gonna see this trailer. Apparently, we have this queued up.
Great.
And let's see what's going on.
Cool. Let's have a horror.
I don't suppose they told you anything in Denver about the tragedy we had up here during the winter of 1970? I heard a man named Charles Grady is the winter caretaker. From what I've been told, I mean, he seemed like a completely normal individual.
Isn't his name Jonny?
But at some point,
probably
during the winter, he must
but they just said a different name.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those trailers that's trying to troll you. See, listen to the music. You hear what I'm talking about? Like, this is way too fast. Like, they need to slow down.
Assured, Mr. Ullman, that's not
way faster than the movie, that's for sure.
Yeah, tempo, it's just way off.
Mom, do you really want to go and live in that hotel for the winter?
Sure I do. It'll be lots of fun.
The only thing that can get a bit trying up here during winter is...
if only this movie was as fun as she actually claimed.
That would have been great. If this movie was as good as Popeye, come on, Shelley Duvall.
Have to deal with this matter.
Would have been an Oscar winner.
I killed you again.
This trailer is definitely better than the movie.
I mean, yeah, that's gonna hurt. But even like I'm watching this and I'm like, am I about to watch a sitcom? Like
this actually looks good.
Yeah, it does. And then you watch the movie and you're severely disappointed.
Yeah, the trailer forgot to show us the hour of riding a bike.
Riding the bike.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like a bait and switch. It's like, here's all these cool things that they do happen, but only for like a second.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then like, no, you get like we were talking not only the bike thing, but also everybody's just walking around and just staring at the camera, really. So especially Jack Nicholson.
I didn't find it boring like what you guys are talking about. It was a learning experience because essentially what you got to watch was Jack Nicholson completely botch an entire film with the laziest acting I've ever seen because he was fresh out of doing One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which was amazing. And this is a typical example of when money is just the only thing that they're concerned about. So Kubrick's like, I'll get Jack in here. He can act however he wants. We'll make millions of dollars because people like this guy. And there were several times where he actually forgot his lines. And it looks like because he's trying to act angry that it's part of his distress, when in fact he just didn't know what the hell he was supposed to say next. And Shelley's reactions, those were real. They weren't reactions of being scared. It was out of frustration because she was so sick of dealing with his half-ass acting while she's trying to take the job seriously. In the 20th anniversary edition, there was an interview where she compared working with Jack on that film to a spoiled adolescent brat who can just do whatever the hell he wants. And she was like, he's the main reason I didn't want to do movies anymore. But she did Popeye and then she quit.
That makes sense.
See, I think he just overacted. I think that was his issue. He just literally took his role in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and was like, okay, I'm just going to apply it here. I think it was just overacted as hell, and he just copy pasted his character.
Yeah, the entire story would have gone along the message would have gone along so much easier had everybody really just completely invested in Wooden acting. You know, I think it wasn't just him, it was it was Shelley Duvall too. And then what was the name of the son again?
Danny,
the actor. Right, but the actor's name.
His name's Danny too.
Is it Danny? Okay.
Wow, original.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all of them. Like they definitely could have. I mean, hell, man, if fucking M. Night Shyamalan is notorious for doing that with his actors in his films, that would have been perfect for this movie. If they would have just toned it down a little bit, a little more realistic. Come on.
I agree.
I would actually say one of the worst things this movie did was that you have only one black guy in the movie, and his name is Dick, and he's the magic black man there to fix all the white people's problems. And so I think that definitely needed to be changed, reworked, and just wasn't.
It's pretty racist.
That did not work out though. Like
no.
I mean, like we have this whole buildup that he's going to save the day, and then nothing happens. He just gets killed.
Yep.
Like,
exactly.
Worthless character.
Yeah. Pretty sad.
Yeah. When that happened, I'm like, I'm done with this.
Yeah. The magic dick black.
Literally, I was done. I turned it off. So I'm sorry. I did not finish. So I don't even know how the movie ends.
Oh, well, that's probably good. It's for the best. I don't remember either. Yeah. Actually, there's actually one real bad guy in all of this, and that's Bree, because you picked this movie for whatever god awful reason. So explain it.
Thanks, Bree.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm making you guys suffer with me. I'm suffering from being sick, so you all get to suffer with me differently.
On top of that, had to watch The Shining.
Yeah. Just what can I say? I'm a
one hell of a bad day.
I'm a masochist. So the reason that I picked this movie is recently I heard they're actually adapting one of my favorite Stephen King novels, and it's The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. It's one of his like kind of under the radar works, but I think it's honestly one of his best. And then I thought, I tried to think about like all the movies that has been adapted. I mean, Carrie's good, Cujo's fun. I love Salem's Lot. That's getting adapted into a TV show. Really excited for that. And then I thought, okay, what's one thing that has been adapted pretty poorly? And then I was like, oh shit, The Shining. The Shining sucked.
Yeah.
So maybe, hopefully, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon will be really good and not like The Shining. So that's why I picked it. I'm a huge Stephen King fan. And I mean, since we're here to grind on trash horror movies.
True.
Perfect.
Hey, it's fair.
Hey, Stephen King learned a valuable lesson also, by the way, because after that, he was like, I'm giving no one control over actors, over the script, or anything anymore. He did Maximum Overdrive after that. He did
that one was good.
Yeah, and it was a good movie. He
Love
hired all the actors. He did the directing and everything. Took full control because he saw what the big guys do with movies. We're here to make millions of dollars. We just need one famous face, and everyone will see it. And Steven didn't like that. No, I'm here to make good movies.
He did the same with the Shining miniseries. Like there was the miniseries
I
that
heard
was
that was
way
good.
more faithful to the book, which again, Ian, you said the book's amazing. But I mean, he was like breathing down the shoulders of everybody. He did not want another bad one.
Well, I guess we need to go around the room and discuss some of this plot. I think it's about that time. If I had to give it a shot in the dark, I would say that the plot is about a man trying to write a book and gets attacked by his family and has to defend himself in the best way possible and chases them with an axe. And that's kind of a rough draft of the plot there. Anybody else? What is your kind of take on the plot? And kind of go around the room. Let's start with Ian. Why don't you go ahead, man?
Okay. Well, like I said, I don't know how it ends. So, I remember the axe. So
yeah, don't waste your time with seeing the end.
You can make up your own, and it'll be better.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No, Bree, that's a good point.
I think it has something to do with popsicles, but I don't know.
So
something like that.
In the book, Dick, the black guy, he actually defeats him, but the place blows up because the boiler overheats, and but that didn't happen this time. So I was just like, that's some bullshit, and I turned it off. But I mean, Seth, you pretty much got it. I mean, yeah, they're taking over this hotel. But here's the thing. I'm sorry, you asked the wrong person because I'm really confused about this whole movie. Like, there's like a bartender and other people in some scenes. So, are they taking care of this place, or are they just guests? Because it seemed like they were just guests to me.
Maybe, I don't know. Could have been a Klan rally. I don't know.
Sorry, I like when you told me we were doing this movie. Like, I was going to take notes and be prepared, but I was just having such a hard time watching this, and I just really I wasn't into it. So I'm sorry. You're gonna have to ask somebody else for the plot.
No, Johnny, why don't you go for it?
Such a bad
well, just like Ian, I did finish it, but I had to start it over at least probably 4 times. But from what I recall, or at least what I gathered from it, is this Jack Nicholson plays a writer that's having a hard time coming up with inspiration for a new book. Something new to write. I don't know. Maybe he's a journalist, writes newspaper articles for the Times. Who fucking knows? And so he finds this job where he and his family need to watch over this hotel up high up in the mountains in Colorado. And so they get while it's all snowed in. So he and his family get hired to go up there, and they stay for a few months. And there apparently was a murder that happened a couple decades before that. And they basically the entire movie is just them in the house. Jack Nicholson writes, Shelley Duvall screams, and Danny rides his tricycle. And that's pretty much what happens. They fight what I guess a dark spirit that's at the hotel or something. It's really pointless. A lot of classic great horror films never waste a shot. They never waste a frame shot at all. I would say at least 90% of the shots in this movie they weren't needed. It was just a waste of space.
Which is really insane because he also shot a bunch of stuff in here. So let me give it over to you, John.
Say that one more time. Sorry.
I think his dogs were barking.
Yeah, I got a mess back here, Johnny. You go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, keep going. No. So basically, it's supposed to be about isolationism and the horrors that come with that, and I don't know, maybe something here and there about child abuse and stuff.
See, that's
they didn't really do a good job of portraying it. What?
I'm sorry to interrupt. That's where I'm confused, is because we get this idea it's like they're being isolated, but there's kind of there.
Exactly. I mean, you know me, hell, Ian, we talked about this on my show last week. I'm not a huge fan of, isolationist horror movies in general, normally. And this is obviously no exception. But
I don't know. Are
Go
there?
ahead.
But there's other people, so that's where
Yeah.
I'm
So
confused.
it doesn't make much sense, does it? And I guess I don't understand. It's kind of like Inception. It's like was he dreaming the whole time? Did they actually ever go up there? Was it real?
Huh.
Was it not?
Wait,
Because they show that picture at the end of him at the hotel. 100 years earlier.
You're
80
getting
I
years
didn't get
close.
that.
I don't know.
You're getting close
I
to the
didn't get
plot.
that whatsoever.
So
wait. Are there's supposed
hey,
to
Dustin,
not
if you know
be
better,
there?
by all means, please jump in.
Yeah, go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, so I paid very close attention to it, and yeah, they were trying to take it in a different direction than the book. Essentially, if they had delivered this correctly, it would have been great. So the movie is actually about addiction, and so everything in it is not real. What it's about is we're watching a man who starts getting heavy into his alcoholism. Now, when people who drink all day, every day, there's something that happens called alcohol insanity, which causes hallucinations, amongst other things. The cover is all this supernatural stuff, but none of that was ever actually happening at all. Yes, he was there attending to a hotel. He was never writing a book or anything. He just thought he needed to, because his addiction was making him think he had important, productive things he needed to do, when in reality, he was just diving deeper and deeper into his addiction, which ultimately led to him at the end when he's just frozen, dead. This isn't a spoiler if you haven't seen the movie by now. I'm sorry, you're 30 years late to
It's your own fault.
Right. But
Yeah, Ian.
but the entire movie was to show the progression of what alcohol does to you. And all of its effects when you get alcohol insanity. And that's the plot of the entire film, is watching the madness of a man completely lose his mind from his addiction.
Well, I
That's
think if they
interesting.
made everybody who had alcohol addiction at AA watch this movie, they'd all be cured of it. So I think it might have been worth something.
Boom.
So there
Yep,
you
it
go.
would make rehabs obsolete.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wait,
Well said.
so
Well said.
were you? So what you're saying is that nothing is real in this movie.
I mean,
Like, that's
what
all
is
in his
real,
head?
really? I mean,
We are all in
The
a
only
simulation,
thing
right?
that's real is that he's
Exactly.
there and he's an alcoholic and he's just watching a hotel. Everything
Sorry.
else
So-
is just
You guys are
either-
digging like way too deep into this. All right.
I don't think we're
The
going
real-
deep
this
enough,
was the,
actually.
No, hold
this
on,
was
hold
the
on,
actual
hold on.
script. They just delivered it poorly, and now everyone thinks it's a supernatural.
Because that does
Movie.
happen in the book, but like the
No,
movie,
I know, that's what I said. They tried to completely change the book together, and that's not uncommon for when directors and writers are making a script. They want to completely change the whole book, and that's why fans get so angry, because they're like, "Man, it didn't follow the book at all." What
no,
the
not
hell?"
at all.
Yeah,
But
you know,
So no, you guys again are just like analyzing too much. The reason this movie exists is so Stanley Kubrick can explain that he created the moon landing footage. Have you guys not looked
I
into the
heard about
symbolism
that.
of that?
I no, haven't heard that one yet.
All right, so that whole like unnecessary like trike writing portion, again unnecessary. If you notice, Danny's wearing a sweater with the rocket and the moon, right? And if you take a look at the carpet and you take a look at the design, that black portion that does like the shape thing kind of looks a lot like a landing zone. I'm just saying, again, this movie, it's not actually a true adaptation. It's a way for Stanley Kubrick to admit he faked the moon landing.
Yeah, he always wanted to be an astronaut as a kid, I would assume.
Exactly.
So,
Why do you
stay
think
on
he
edge.
followed this up with 2001: A
Some hot
Space
takes
Odyssey?
here.
Good
Hot
point.
takes
Good
here.
point. Yep.
All right.
Solid point.
Ian, it looks like you got a lot to think about with this one, man. Looks like
Yeah,
you lost in the barrel. You
I,
be all right?
I just like, I don't know. This is more than like I thought about. Like, I'm just hearing some really crazy stuff that's
Blowing your
I don't
mind.
know. Yeah, kind of.
Wow.
Like I'm still stuck on this. Like, so like none of those people were real though. I mean, now Bree's bringing up something about like moon landing that
Right.
is, but I want to do one thing at a time. So none
Now,
of
for
those
that
people
matter,
were
I
real.
might as well just say this is the origin story of the Punisher. Yeah.
Ooh,
So I mean,
wow.
you know,
What?
yeah, family dies and he comes out of the ice after a couple of years and he starts killing criminals. I mean, that's
There
it.
you go.
That's the real story.
Or
Sure.
hear me
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, it's a
The Thing.
prequel to the Punisher. There you go. Where the Punisher chops up his family, or tries to.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that might be it. I mean, if we're just gonna go for it, I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Again,
Um,
your idea is better than what it actually was. So
Yeah, it's true. I could rewrite this movie. I'm pretty sure. In fact, I could reshoot this movie in way less time. So, in fact, anybody can. So
yeah, that's true.
favorite scenes. Why don't we get into that? We've done our plot digging. Let's dig around. I know it's tough. I mean, if anything for me, my favorite scene was probably the opening where we saw the landscape. I mean,
Yeah, the train was beautiful.
yeah.
Good
I have
call.
to give it that. Countryland. Yeah, it was good. That was
I thought
decent.
it was boring.
It's hard not to fuck that up. So, yeah. I don't know. That's me.
Yeah.
Jonny, we'll start with you. What is your favorite scene?
Yeah. I mean, God, where to start? That is a really tough one. In fact, you took mine. So that was it was a great opening. You know, great view of the Rockies there. Yeah, I mean, as far as shots of landscapes go, I would think it was fairly pretty. I don't know. For me, you know, I still kind of, we always talk about the one-line zingers or anything, and I think there's a fair amount of quotable lines in this movie, so I can appreciate that. I've always loved the scene where, you know, Johnny's going Jack Nicholson's character's going crazy, and he, you know, bashes that hole in the door, sticks his head and goes, "Honey, I'm home." And then the "Here's Johnny" line. Those are just funny. I mean, you know, like I said, I mean, I think earlier when I was talking I wasn't even making a joke when I said the trailer, oh, it makes it look like a sitcom. Obviously a little bit, but I think there were actually parts in this movie that were deceptively funny and people just didn't even notice it because it was billed as this horror movie. So
yeah, well, hasn't Kubrick just made comedies? Like that's like
I thought so. I mean, I mean, Clockwork Orange, like, come on, yeah, 2001. I mean, what? I mean, obviously comedies. Yeah, it is. It's fucking hilarious, man. Like he's a good comedic scriptwriter. He's a good comedic director.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know which one of those he actually wrote, but you know, well done.
There you go. All right, Bree, why don't you go ahead? Favorite scene?
the credits.
Perfect.
Just the names finally just start rolling.
Yeah.
The credits, honestly.
Yeah. Just when you know.
I was just like,
And-
it was like,
and
oh
there's
my
that
god,
face-
it's a relief.
There's
Solid
that
pick.
face that he makes before the end. He's like, when it's frozen, he's like,
Even then, still credits. I'm sorry, it was just like that instant relief. Like you're like, oh my god, it's finally over. You know, when you're watching like a really bad movie and you're like, oh god, just please end. Yeah, that was that relief washing over me as those names start to roll, and I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah, that's
it's over.
Dustin, what about you?
Mine's sort of similar because there was relief, and it all had to do with Jack Nicholson. My favorite scene is when he was actually frozen stiff and dead, and because at that point I knew he'd finally shut the hell up. He ran his mouth the entire time with the worst acting I've ever seen. He almost lost his career because of it, and the only job in that entire film that he did good was playing dead, and I knew he wasn't going to say anything else because he was dead. So, and that was it. That was my relief of the film, is I didn't have to listen to his crock-a-malacca half-ass acting
for sure. Yeah, for real.
the rest of the time.
I hear that.
I mean, Danny. The best acting in the film was when Danny was riding his tricycle around the hallways.
Preach.
I thought it was maybe when he was just sitting there with his mouth open, like.
Yeah, no, I love
that's
that.
probably the best one. That might have been the best one, but it's arguable. It's definitely arguable. Ian, what about you? Favorite scene?
So, Well, yeah, it's definitely that bathroom scene where the naked chick comes out and starts making out with him because, of course, yeah,
Naked chick.
of course you gotta
Yeah.
make out with her, but then she turns it old, and I just like lost my shit. Like that
was a funny scene.
That was hilarious.
Ridiculous.
That was so hilarious, man. Oh my god!
And she just starts laughing at him, and like,
Talk
and then
about a
we're
gut
both
buster.
laughing at him because I'm laughing at him now too. And it's just
Dude,
like,
I don't know that. I thought that old lady was kind of high. I'd those tits were on.
Yeah, and you can
Yeah.
do both. You can do it while you're laughing.
That's true. That's true. You can do both. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Multitasking is always good. All right, so we've gone into our favorite scenes. So now, prequel, sequel. What do we do? What happens? Actually, this movie did actually have a sequel. Like 20 years later, it got like a sequel. So there was that. Way better than this movie.
Oh yeah.
But if you want to do your own version of a sequel, prequel, reboot, whatever, maybe a crossover or spinoff, let's go ahead and start with Ian. Go ahead. Why don't you give us one of yours?
okay,
what's
well, yeah. So I just, I don't know. So there's this whole idea of just like in there's a party, and it just shows like him as a party. So it's basically after the end when he freezes to death. It's just the party. People are just like, where'd Jonny go? And then I don't know. I just I couldn't take this movie seriously. I'm sorry. I couldn't come up with something. But
Welcome to the club.
I was just like, this is just such bullshit. Like I started kind of thinking about that, but it just didn't make sense. So I could probably think of something, but
All right. Dustin, what about you, man?
Well, I have two. The first one would be a prequel, and the prequel would be them realizing they shouldn't make the movie, and then
Solid.
and then my other idea is actually a complete remake. Give Stephen King full control and do it how he knows it should be done.
Didn't they do that?
The miniseries, yeah.
Yeah.
I did not. I'm sorry, I did not like the miniseries.
As a movie, it's different.
That actor,
Yeah.
I did not
it was
like
good.
that
What are you
actor,
talking
man, that
about?
played Jack.
Oh yeah.
He was also in that movie like Dr. Jekyll and Miss Hyde. How could you take him seriously after that kind of movie?
That's a good point. Good point. You're a winner. All right. Bree, why don't you go with you?
Okay. I also want a prequel to explain what the fuck is going on. Like Ian, like who the fuck are these people? Like we found out through dialogue, okay, they were here in the past. So did they die? Are they bumming it in the hotel? Like who the fuck are these people? I need a prequel to explain.
What do you mean they
on.
died in the past?
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know.
No, like why did you say that?
There is no past.
No,
He
I'm
was drunk
saying-
the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do they even exist? Like I just need a
It's so
prequel.
confusing.
Maybe you just do a movie that's the actual moon landing. How about that?
Yeah, or that. Yeah, just
true.
Stanley
And-
Kubrick just come out and make that show the actual footage of you doing the moon landing.
Yeah. That would be the prequel. That'd be the prequel.
There we go. Then
Shining.
we wouldn't need this movie.
And
Get
so
it off
it's
his
actually
conscious.
the moon that's shining at night. Yeah.
So is this supposed to be like he did do the moon landing? Like what is that
Stanley-
what you were trying to say?
Stanley Kubrick is basically getting it off his chest and letting everybody know that he's the one who shot the footage of Neil Armstrong supposedly on the moon. He's the one who
And he did
directed
that with Danny.
through like the whole movie. There's like a bunch of like little
Really?
hints to basically it's like him like subtly saying, yeah, that was my job. But he can't say it because he's probably under an NDA through the government.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't just come out and say, oh yeah,
would
here's
kill
the
him
moon
for that.
landing. Yeah.
Really?
Fucking CIA would be all up
So
on
he
it.
did the moon landing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I always just
Just another terrible idea. It's the moon. Who the hell
Look.
wants to look at that?
could be the best idea. We don't know yet.
Seriously.
Johnny, what about you? What you
Yeah, I think mine was a little different this week. I kind of actually wanted to see a bit of a reality series on something like this. I was checking out Halloween H2O the other day, and I was like,
that's a good movie. That's
it is.
I'm glad that you grabbed that one to do a movie. Like the framework of that movie. 100%.
Yeah, hey, it's way better than The Shining, so that's for damn sure. I think it'd be cool, especially because the only way in a horror movie, if you're in a house that large and it's completely just riddled with, if it's supposed to be demons or a ghost or fucking whatever, or a bunch of occult, whatever it is, there's strength in numbers. So let's see something where it actually gives these protagonists a chance, and let's throw a bunch of people in there. Let's not tell them who the bad guy is. Let's let them figure it out. Make it into a game of Clue, but on steroids, and everybody dies.
Among Us.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd like to see something like that. I think it would definitely would have made it more entertaining. I certainly would have watched it, not begrudgingly.
I guess mine would be in the vein of a prequel where a bunch of white people come down to Colorado and give COVID or chickenpox to a bunch of Native Americans, and we see.
All right.
Wow.
And we see how that happened. That would probably be a good basis. The sequel, of course, would be Jack Nicholson being thought out and having a skull shirt and fighting crime all through the Rocky Mountains. That would probably be a sequel.
That's a good idea. I actually do really like that.
Yeah, that would definitely be the sequel.
Punisher.
For sure.
You got to replace that actor though.
And he would actually have to end up killing the ultimate bad guy, which is Danny when he's an adult. So we got to get rid of his
that's good.
power. So for sure, because mutant powers are unaccepted. We're not taking that, and they need to get the fuck out. All right, so I think I gave you a prequel and a sequel there, and ratings. Let's go ahead and rate the movie. I'm sitting at a 0.5 star. We'll do it out of 5, just like IMDb did. So they give it a 4.5. I'll just give it a 0.5. I mean, I did have a good giggle, but that's about it. Bree, we'll start with you. What about you on the rating?
Wait, 0.5 what?
0.5 out of 5.
No,
so 0.5, decimal 5, less than 1. What are we talking about?
Of what?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Half a star for the rub down Jack Nicholson got in the bathroom. There you go.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Bree.
Okay. Yeah. Honestly, just one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Usually I like film adaptations, like for example, like the movie Jaws, right? Jaws is a great example of taking a book and making the movie better. And they just failed to do it with this movie. I was just really disappointed as a Stephen King fan. Acting was terrible. I was just really let down. And for that, honestly, I just got to give it a rating of 1 hour wasted on this movie that I will never get back.
I got you. Let's see. Ian, we'll go with you.
So here's the thing. I was going to rate it real low, like 1 hilarious chick in the bathtub. But I don't know. Dustin said some stuff that made some sense to me. You telling me so was she not real?
His wife?
No. Well, I guess her too, but the naked girl in the bathroom.
Right. No, all of that was part of the insanity that was happening from his addiction.
Actually, I think the girl in the bathtub was the only real one, and everything else was hallucination.
That's very possible.
Okay, but
Or they're aliens. I'm just saying, moon landing.
You know what? There could have been aliens. You know what? In fact, the lady in the bathroom was an alien who transfers from old to young. She's in the time loop.
That's right.
She's the alien.
Oh shit!
That explains the photograph at the end.
There you go.
Holy shit!
What photograph at the end? What's this
you wouldn't know because you didn't finish it, but yeah,
you should have finished it. Ian.
It doesn't make sense. It's like a time travel thing.
I don't want to though. That's
Way to go,
Ian. Don't worry about it. No, don't worry about it.
But anyway, yeah, all this talking like the best movies are like where we find out that they're not real at the same time. Like, so if that's all hallucination, that actually I like that. So if none of it's real and it's all in his head, I'm starting to like this movie now. So
There you
maybe
go.
I
Take
will
that.
rewatch it
Okay.
with that in mind, and
Gotta-
then I'll just. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like,
Watch the 20th anniversary collector's edition, and it has all the interviews with the directors and the actors, and they actually break down exactly what they were trying to pull off. And this is a movie about alcoholism and addiction, and they explain it thoroughly. It was just delivered poorly, and so now it's just known to everyone as a supernatural thriller.
that's
feel
really
like-
cool.
I feel like Dustin has a It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia Charlie conspiracy theory board in his basement about this movie and has connected all the dots about
Well,
everything
he makes
that's
sense
movie.
though.
And it's
Like,
impressive. It's actually very impressive. And I give you the respect and kudos.
I mean, that makes me like the movie so much better.
You're
now.
blowing my mind here, sir. I have to say.
I mean, actually, that's really cool, and yeah. So I'm gonna have to rewatch it now. I like that a lot. So it was just like it was all hallucination. He was just by himself, maybe with or without the naked girl, but
Actually, Ian, I think you sound so confused that you might be an alien on this planet and you're not sure what's going on at all.
Yeah.
no, I do now.
Who the hell is this Ian character
well-
you guys keep talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, to keep it short, I like this a lot. So I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5.
Damn.
Okay, cool.
Come
Yeah.
on, man.
This is
Yeah.
good now. I
Yeah.
actually really like this now. I
What?
mean,
Yeah.
You haven't
Yeah.
even finished it.
if
Yeah, you
had
finished it.
told
How do you
me-
like it? Good point.
if
How?
you-
Yeah, watch the whole
because
thing.
they
You
were
know what?
not-
That's the
they
best
were
way.
in his head the whole time. That's amazing.
But you know what? He just didn't want to
Every-
be disappointed. You know what? That's the way you should watch movies. Watch it to the point where you're like, okay, this might get bad. Stop and give it a 5 out of 5 rating. If you watch all movies like that, all movies will be good. You know, even if you watch.
Well,
movies
no,
for 10
that's not what I'm
minutes,
talking
and then
about. Though
make
I'm
sure-
saying this is actually good now.
Make sure though that you go around and write reviews on Amazon and everywhere else about how great it is, but also mark down how much time you spend actually watching the movie.
You know what?
Whether it's 10 minutes or an hour and 20.
I just realized something. There's a lot of scenes where it just shows Johnny like sitting there by himself, not moving, just like on the tip of his bed, just like staring at the camera, and he could be just like imagining everything else that's happening.
This
So
isn't
the
even
next
happening right now.
scenes,
Yeah.
playing out in his head. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I'm just sitting. I'm just sitting looking at a wall in reality right now. I'm not even
Yeah.
talking to you guys. You're just figments of my imagination.
It's true. I think I'm a figment of my own imagination. I look in the mirror and I don't even
blowing
Yeah,
my
don't,
mind.
don't make fun of me. Like, come on.
Yeah,
now.
We're not making fun of you. I mean, we're just,
I mean,
you know,
You're
maybe
making you're
maybe a
totally
little.
making fun of me right now.
You're another guest. Doesn't
You did
matter.
it to
You're not the
yourself.
host.
by giving it a 5 out of 10. That's you did it to yourself.
Ian, you got to watch your fucking mouth, sir, because you're on Movies So Bad They're Good,
Yep.
and this
Yeah.
podcast doesn't tolerate nonsense.
I think it's
Yeah.
so good as great now.
well,
to
I
be
think
honest,
maybe
to
kicked
be
off.
You can't
completely
call a
honest.
5 out of 10 great. What
Yeah.
the heck?
No, 5 out of 5.
It's 5. We did 5 ratings. I was going off IMDb's
gotcha.
rating of 5.
Well, then that's even worse.
But what is it? It's 5 what? What?
Oh,
Yeah, I've what?
5, things that are in his head, hallucinations.
500 times we
Sorry.
saw the kid. There you go. All right.
I think that we're really onto something here.
So we got mine, we got Bree's, we got Ian's, right? So we got Dustin and John. No, I think we got Dustin and Ian's, right?
No,
Who hasn't
I haven't
rated
given
yet?
my rating yet.
No, you
Yeah, we
haven't.
still need
Okay,
Dustin.
we'll save you for the end because you'll be the most interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny, go ahead. Give us your rating.
Go now.
No, Johnny, yours is
Okay.
gonna be the most interesting. We'll save you for the last. You take us home.
Okay. I mean, honestly, this out of because I've tried to watch it a few times, and I got through. Obviously, I had to start and stop.
Why? Why
But-
more than once?
Because you have to. I mean, think about
I'm
it.
gonna watch
It's
it
one of
more than
those.
once.
It's one of those movies that always gets it's always talked about as one of the greatest horror movies ever, and in some people's cases, it's one of the greatest movies ever and stuff. But this is one of the top
I can see that
two
now.
most. Okay, well, I'm glad that you can see it, but I can't. Maybe one day you can explain it to me, because this is one of the two most overrated movies of all time, between this and the fucking English Patient. Okay,
What?
The English Patient.
Okay.
These are both just. I don't even want to go into. I'm just going to end up.
I don't know. This movie doesn't touch one of the best horror movies I've ever seen, which is Freddy versus Jason. So I don't know what this.
Boom. Yeah, and Jason 10. I just saw that the other night for the first time.
In
space, upgrade, baby. Yeah, that was entertaining.
Everything in space.
That
was good.
Yeah,
Amityville in space.
Yeah,
I'm going to give this though. Honestly, I'll give it 2 unnecessarily just odd girls, just the twins. I didn't get it. Like, what's creepy about that? In fact, if anything, I don't know. If anything, it was just funny. You know, out of nowhere.
It was funny.
It'd be great to have at the house. You know, maybe I can wash dishes and stuff together. You know,
you
mow the grass outside.
Yeah.
He's just riding his bike, and then out of nowhere, there's these 2 kids who clearly not checked in. They just want to play.
Yeah,
and they don't.
Danny.
This is so you're something's going on. Like, is this supposed to be like ominous? Like something horrible is going to happen at the end? I think it's just a couple kids having a fun time outside. You know, playing cops and robbers, whatever.
Yeah, just playing
just unnecessary.
Yeah, but
Stupid.
like, what if we go back to the theory that it's all in his head, and that they were just imaginary?
Then it's ridiculous. Then he needs to be in an insane asylum.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, maybe he is the whole time.
It's possible.
Maybe. Once there was the cuckoo's nest, all the shit he's imagining.
There you go.
Is this.
Oh shit!
Okay. So it's a prequel. Yeah.
It just they tried to be scary in so many scenes, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work. It just, as we've been talking about, it was just comical. It's hilarious in certain spots. It's weird.
Dustin, why don't you give us a rating?
So I'm going to elaborate because my rating is going to be a little bit higher than you would expect, but there's good reason. I'm giving it 3 Jack Nicholson receding hairlines out of 5.
That's perfect.
All right. So the concept and the idea of the movie is fantastic. The delivery was poor. Now, all of these things that you guys are mentioning that don't make sense, and 2 random kids and all of that, those were the attempts to show you that all of this randomness and confusion is from his addiction. Okay, because things don't make sense when you're insane, especially if it's induced from alcohol. So had they delivered it, I would, and everyone had done a good job, and Jack Nicholson, actually gave a shit, then it might have been pulled off appropriately. But it failed miserably. But like I said, his receding hairline was so epic. I gave it an extra star for that.
It deserved it.
And for the effort, it took time and effort to make the movie. So just not on Jack Nicholson's behalf.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna have to bring my rating back down to at least 4 because of Jack Nicholson was really bad in that.
Fair. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll have to say that it's been good doing this episode for Movies So Bad They're Good. It's been a lot of fun. But before we end it, I think Ian here, you got a message to tell everyone, and so why don't you go ahead and bring us out.
The moon landing was fake and April Fool's.
Oh, wait, April Fool's on the moon landing being fake?
April Fool's,
whatever you want.
Wait, the moon is actually real. It's not a man's head made of cheese.
It's made out of cheese, man.
No,
I saw it in Wallace and Gromit one time. So
I'm sure there's lizard creatures that live there.
Yeah. This was a fun little April Fool's thing. I mean, we either have people watching this. Well, everybody probably stopped watching this after like 5 minutes.
After we were trying to convince them that.
Okay. Well, we're all laughing and trying to hold back smiles.
There's some.
No one made it this far. They're all making hate comments, and then the end.
We lost a bunch of subscribers.
Don't even record the Patreon episode. We don't need it. We have no subscribers.
I forgot to tell y'all we gotta do some Patreon after this.
Woohoo.
But yeah, so thanks for y'all for joining. Seth is actually we see him now. He's who's next podcast. Thanks for doing this. For
Not a problem.
going along with my crazy scheme.
Oh, it was easy because I actually hate this movie, so I just got to tell my real feelings.
Seriously?
No.
I think Dustin actually does hate this movie.
He might.
Yeah, I actually don't like the movie.
It's pretty
Wow.
good. Yeah. I thought so.
I did read the book first before I saw this movie,
Mm.
and then I watched the movie, and then I was like, "This is insane." But over the years, I really do enjoy it more the more times I see it. It's really cool.
You just hate watch it until you like it. That makes sense.
Hate watch.
Well, no, Kubrick is my favorite director of all time, and like cinematically, like the aesthetics is just actually amazing.
The camera
But,
shots.
Any
that
of
we mentioned.
of his films are always going to be aesthetically pleasing for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always well done.
But yeah, we man, Seth, you rushed us through this episode so quick. We're not even at an hour yet.
Hey, I mean,
Oh, that's not
y'all
bad.
give me.
Most of your
Y'all give
episodes
me
are only an
what you
hour
give
15.
me. Yeah.
The ones I'm on, at least.
Yeah,
I wasn't
true.
rushing. I was like, my answer sometimes I'm a more concise. I have whatever punchline I want to give to the point, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to expand on how bad a movie is when you don't really believe it.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that's the
You don't
problem
like
that you ran into here. You can't blame me for rushing,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm not gonna just keep piddling same stuff. So, like, I'm going through people.
You're definitely more professional than I am.
And to clarify, Jack Nicholson did do a good job. That was the one that I liked about it. I didn't like the movie, but Jack Nicholson, obviously, he's great at playing.
I love how you like blamed his acting on Shelley Duvall, like because
such
like
a stone cold bitch. I couldn't concentrate.
I'll say this though, one of the things, a true criticism of this movie that I kind of give to Stephen King is when I was reading through some of the notes of stuff, he said like how he felt like one of the issues he had with Jack Nicholson's character, and I'm not saying it's an issue with Jack Nicholson. I mean, it's probably the way he was directed, but he felt like he was an asshole to Shelley the whole movie. Like not just at the house, and it started changing him. And Stephen King said that originally his concept was that he started changing at the house.
Yeah.
So that's fair. But I mean, again, it's how you want to interpret it. So, but like
Shelley was genuinely like a little traumatized because she was being essentially verbally abused throughout the entire film and would have panic attacks because she just couldn't handle all of the screaming and cursing that was happening at her all the time.
And it was manufactured, from my understanding, because they weren't really mad. They were trying to pull a performance out of her, from how I've been reading, how it's been explained. Which is, I mean, like, I guess that's the way to go about it, but it sounds not fun. But I mean, whatever, you know. But I mean, I was just saying, I remember reading some of Stephen King's criticism about it. That was one of the things that I was like, I can see your point with that, you know. Like,
oh, absolutely.
That's old school directing. Like Alfred Hitchcock loved to use real things to bring true fright out. So, like, you know, the birds. He literally threw 20 crazy rabid birds at this woman, and that's her really freaking out because she was actually being pecked over and over by 50 crazed birds.
Yeah, well, that's not actually the point I was making. The point I was making is about Jack Nicholson, that his character was kind of an asshole to Shelley from the car ride on. When Stephen King said initially his idea was that his behavior started changing at the house.
Yeah, there's a lot of character development.
That's a fair criticism of that I felt like from Stephen King. Is all.
His list of complaints are long though with that movie.
Yeah.
That's just one of them that I was like, that kind of makes it. If I'm gonna be actual critical on the movie, and then that's not even critical. It's really just a choice. So yeah, but no, it's been good. So do you want to? You're hosting now, Ian. So are we doing plugs? Or you got something about a sneak peek? So go for it, buddy.
Well, actually, no. I'm going to skip sneak peek because like all of the this week I've recorded a bunch of episodes and they're all just like kind of out of order. So I'm not sure what will come up after this. Cool. But So yeah, Seth did a great job as host,
Yes.
better than me for sure. But yeah, so we do go back to an old first podcast I was on was maybe so bad they're good. So that was correct. And it was me and Seth, another guy Ryan, and we made fun of about a bunch of bad movies. And then now I'm here, and yeah, I'm glad you could take the reins again.
Yeah.
And then check out Jonny. I don't give a flick, as always.
Yep.
There's
Oh,
some-
at the Who's Next podcast, we did just cover the Batman. I got to watch it.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
I'm
Yeah,
actually
I'm gonna go see. Yeah, we are.
No
see it
spoil.
tonight.
I was gonna say I'm gonna go see it tomorrow, but this episode will come out on like April Fools.
Did
so
y'all?
it's like that. It'll be weeks old by then, so everybody will be like,
Oh yeah. Well, that's true.
you just
So
now
weeks.
talking about Batman? Man,
Yeah,
that's
it's
been
true.
out for weeks."
I'm done
say
with
this,
Batman.
though.
I'm not going to go see that movie. I thought I did. I'm just.
Speaking of Jack Nicholson movies, though, one big inspiration for this Batman movie is Chinatown,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I
I didn't-
remember reading that.
and it really
I need to
shows.
rewatch that.
Does it? Okay.
I really
It
need
really
to rewatch.
does show.
Yeah, but I just rewatched Chinatown again a couple
I
weeks ago, so
I'm
that'll
gonna
be
rewatch
fresh.
that as soon as we get done with this.
Yeah, I watched it right before I went to see the Batman. When I heard about it, I was curious because I never did actually watch Chinatown, so
Mhm.
it was a good watch.
Let's say, what did you think? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I definitely liked the slow kind of delve into how things just get kind of bigger and bigger, and then this kind of shocking end to it.
Yeah.
There's some inspiration of that in Batman. You'll see, but
Okay.
I'm not saying much more. I mean, I don't want to spoil.
If you want to hear more, listen to Seth. Who's Next podcast?
Yeah. Oh, they pulled
right,
a lot
baby.
from a couple comic stories too, so we got into that.
Oh, nice.
So,
Yeah, I'm feeling there's like Court of the Owls. It sounds like Court of the Owls.
Nope.
Somewhere.
Nope.
Okay.
I don't even want to name the comics right now because
Okay,
I
that's
think it'll
fair.
give away plot points. So.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll talk a little bit more during the Patreon, so stick around. But for those who don't give us money, you won't be able to see it. So
You won't.
It's not.
Give us money to get the free
Stop
content,
being
man.
poor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop being poor. Give us
all the
money.
spoilers.
Topic. I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah,
I just out of curiosity, since we're talking about Jack Nicholson, what is everyone's favorite Jack Nicholson movie?
Ooh,
I'll start with mine. Mine's Wolf.
I haven't
Okay.
seen that.
As good as it gets for me, I would have to say.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
He's got a lot of great ones, but it's just always
It's about as good as it'll get.
I don't know. I'm a Batman head, so I kind of
Sure.
would lean towards
Batman.
89. But honestly, just watching Chinatown was good, and of course,
Such a
The
good movie.
Shining. I think is I think The
Remember
Shining.
Shining?
I think The
Yeah.
Shining's actually one of the more interesting ones because you really see him by
Yeah, sure.
himself doing stuff, like being interesting almost alone, and a lot of things. I
Yeah.
mean, he does interact with some hallucinations and such, but there's a lot of it where he's like on his own, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's interesting. There's a lot of that. So
He was really
Hey.
able to flex his chops for sure.
I'll say The Shining, or probably actually, I lost it. Never mind.
The Departed, or
Yes,
we were
The
talking about
Departed.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was actually-
Also another one that's
I was
up there.
thinking-
Sure.
I was thinking Departed too, actually. But
Yeah.
It's all of those,
Bree,
yeah.
how about you?
The Shining. I mean, I showed you guys my tattoo. I love the movie.
Oh yeah,
Like
sure.
I said, yeah. I mean, I even got to recreate his. Like I showed you guys too. I got to recreate that scene when he's breaking down the door. He really got to show like a bunch of different spectrums of acting. I loved him.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, I guess we'll end it here right at the hour mark. This is our shortest episode.
You're welcome.
Surprising considering
You're
we all most of us
Also,
like
also
this movie.
really fun episode too.
Well,
Yeah.
Honestly,
Nice
though,
change of
an
pace.
April Fool's episode should probably be your shortest episode. I don't
Agreed.
That's
think you
true.
need
Yeah,
to
it's
be
a good one.
Either that or
everyone
3 hours
else
long.
have. Yeah. Oh yeah. 3
Just half
hours.
the day.
Yeah.
Just
This
24
was a
hours of
long
Ian
con,
talking.
man. I don't know if anyone's gonna realize it was a joke. There's like people like throwing shit out the window right now.
Myself
Although it
included.
would be impressive if you could do a 3-hour just shit dump on a movie like The Shining. It'd be impressive. I don't know if I'd listen to it, but it'd be impressive.
All right. If anybody is interested in taking care of your fish or other aquatic pets, check out Dustin's YouTube channel, your Tap Waters Crap.
Nice.
And yeah, so
Yeah,
what I do
baby.
here. Well, I hope you all have an amazing day.
Yes.
And you should also go out and prank people. And if that'll be our topic for the Patreon. So check us out there.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, take it easy.
Yep. My kids and I are going
Bye.
ding dong ditching right now. So
Nice.
Nice.
Later.